All right, guys, what's going on? It's Jack, and welcome back to another video. And in this one, I wanted to talk about my mouse and keyboard experience that I just had for the very first time less than an hour ago. And I wanted to make this commentary before I have to start getting ready for work number two, job number two today. So my the mouse and keyboard that I ordered from Amazon basically arrived earlier than expected. It was supposed to arrive tomorrow and arrived today. And I immediately, after coming home and cleaning a few things up and stuff like that, I booted up I almost said Advanced Warfare, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. For whatever reason, in Halo Reach, it just wasn't working. So I'm sorry, not Halo Reach, but the Master Chief Collection. I don't know why. I mean, granted, it is on console, so I don't know if there's an issue with that. I know crossplay has been implemented, and there is supposed to be mouse and keyboard controller on Xbox and for crossplay games. But for whatever reason, on Master Chief Collection, I couldn't get the mouse to work for the Master Chief Collection, mouse and keyboard or whatnot. It just wouldn't register. So if any of you guys know anything about that, please let me know. If there's anything I need to do, if there's, please tell me. But on to the commentary, I wanted to talk about my experience overall. And first and foremost, I have to say, I've always respected PC players, but not from a first-hand experience. The only time I ever touched mouse and keyboard for a game was a very temporary period of time when I went over to a friend's house that lives about a couple hours away from me, or lived a couple hours away from me, back then when I was 11 years old. And I stayed at his house for a week, and his dad had a PC, and you could play games on it. So we played Star Wars Dark Forces, which was a first-person shooter, which was my first time ever playing a first-person shooter. We played some SimCity, and we also played Terminal Velocity, which is like a space combat game. And that was the only time I've ever experienced it up until today. And I have to say, I have a newfound respect for mouse and keyboard players. And I can tell you right off the bat that when you're playing on mouse and keyboard for the very first time, especially when compared to a controller, it is very unforgiving in its learning curve. I can tell you that right now. It is one of those things that it is going to make you work to become consistent at it. And it's going to make you work even more to become good at it. So for those players that you see, like the Nate Gibsons, the XCals, guys like that, the Ceratrons, guys like that, Pwn Stars, they've been playing PC for many, many years. And as a matter of fact, for maybe even for a few of those guys, that might have even been their first experience with gaming, if not pretty damn close to around the same time period. So these guys have years and years of experience, not just the adaptation period. Now, what do I mean by the adaptation period? Now, a lot of you guys may have heard that it takes 21 days for something to become habitual. Well, first of all, I have to tell you that that is not the case. It is not 21 days. It's actually 66 days. And I'm also a personal trainer in real life. I'm a certified personal trainer, and I can tell you that when it comes to working out, it actually takes an individual on average anywhere from 4 to 12 weeks to go through the adaptation period to where their body and their muscle memory adjusts to what the training is doing in terms of their body adapting to the exercise that you're giving it to. But it's more or less the body, so it's a little bit different. But when you're talking about muscle memory overall, it's a little bit faster, but it is not 21 days. It is more like 3 months, give or take a few days. So, and that's just for the average individual. For some people that are a little bit more coordinated, it may take less time. And for some people that are less coordinated, it may take even more time. So basically there is going to be an adaptation phase to be had with this. Now, this is just I'm basically just going through the feel phase, so to speak, just feeling things out. And boy, did a lot of things open my eyes today with my personal experience. And I could tell you that I definitely see why the PC community, other than the fact that it's more expensive to play on PC when compared to console, other than that, I can actually see why that even if playing on PC was cheaper, I would still think that the PC gaming community would probably still be a lot smaller than the console gaming community, simply because of the fact that the learning curve just to get the controls down is a lot more unforgiving than what console is. Like with console, pretty much almost anybody can get on the sticks and learn to play. It's a lot easier. It's designed for that in terms of how the controller is designed. But when you compare that to a mouse and keyboard and the way you use your hands, your fingers and all that kind of stuff, and simultaneously using the mouse and doing all these things simultaneously, your brain, like your finger doing something very specific and all that kind of stuff, it is quite different. And for the first timer like myself, it is quite eye-opening. And I was, to a certain degree, I mean, I was expecting a challenge, but I would say it was even more challenging. However, I will say that even though it was just an hour that I got to spend with this before doing this commentary, I can say that even during that hour, and even though I was playing against recruit bots on Black Ops Cold War, I can say that even during that hour, I was able to, I started to see a slight difference. In other words, my muscle memory was getting better at remembering to hold down shift as I was moving forward so I could sprint. Or let's say the way the mouse works in terms of how you aim and stuff like that, in accordance with the keys as well. So things were improving. Like I couldn't even get first place or top 3, on a free-for-all against recruit bots on the easiest difficulty at first. And then the next thing you know, I was able to get a whole 30. Now, I know it doesn't sound like anything, but trust me, if you've never played on mouse and keyboard before, and it is your first time and all that kind of stuff, it is a challenge to do even that, especially within your first 3 games. But then after that, I started noticing that my performance was improving because the numbers don't lie. And, if you're coming in first place and you're finishing the free-for-all match, then that's a good sign. And on top of that, things started happening relatively well. But at the same time, there is, despite the fact that I was noticing a positive change within that first hour, there's still a long road ahead, and it is far, far from over, but it is a challenge that I am willing to take. Now I am sticking to mouse and keyboard strictly for shooters. In terms of console, I am still going to be playing games that are not shooters. So there's no doubt about that. That's always going to be the way I am probably. But for console, it's all going to be about controller. But for shooters, it's all going to be about the mouse and keyboard. And one of the reasons why I wanted to switch, for those of you guys that don't know, one of the reasons why I wanted to switch is simply because, well, first of all, let me give you every reason. I was curious. I heard that it would definitely be a challenge. And I was also aware that at the same time, because aim assist is getting stronger and stronger and stronger on console, I want the control and the credit to be 100% mine. Now, over the years of playing Call of Duty, especially for those of you guys that have been in my channel long enough, I can aim. I can aim on console, but I will also be humble enough to admit, because of the implementation of aim assist, no matter how weak or strong it is, the facts are that no matter how well I aim, and even though I'm well above average in aiming, it's not 100% me. When it comes to mouse and keyboard, because there is no aim assist, it really is all on you. It's all on you and the amount of dedication and time that you put into it. So for me, that's more along the lines of what I personally want. I want more credit for, like, if I'm aiming very well, and I love that level of control. Like, if I'm aiming very well, it's good to get that kind of reward against other players, especially on mouse and keyboard. And I am actually starting to understand more so from a firsthand experience now, even though I haven't played against other people yet. I understand just from this experience alone why a lot of people that play on mouse and keyboard are complaining about aim assist being strong as hell. I am starting to understand from a firsthand experience now where they're coming from. I always respected their thoughts beforehand, and I've mentioned that before in previous videos. But at the same time, I didn't have any firsthand experience back then. Now that I do, I see where they're coming from, and I understand their frustrations, because it's the combination of the controller being designed to have a little to no learning curve, as well as the aim assist being increased like crazy, that basically give these players that play, let's just say, a little too much credit than they deserve, because it's not all them. So that, I would like to say, is probably the kind of mentality that a mouse and keyboard player has. And for any of you that have played mouse and keyboard for the first time as of recently, I'm pretty sure that you can relate with what I'm saying in this commentary. So anyway, I'm running out of time in this gameplay here, but I can say overall that my experience was very eye-opening, is very eye-opening. It's an overall good experience. I actually very much look forward to the challenge. I will resist the temptation to grab a controller for, like, when it comes to shooters. As of right now, I'm pretty much retired. But right now I'm actually just really looking forward to going through that transition phase. And I know that if other people out there can do it, that I can do it too. And the thing is that I am, when it comes to this, something that I'm passionate about, I'm not an easy quitter. I have yet to fail in anything that I was passionate about. So I don't intend to fail now, especially since I've been playing video games since age 7. And so I don't plan on giving up on this, despite the fact that it's difficult. And I really am looking forward to it. And I probably will be streaming the transition as day goes on. I'll probably name every stream after the days of the adaptation period from 1 to 66. But anyway, guys, that's all I got for this one. Let me know down in the comment section what your experience is. For those of you that are on mouse and keyboard, let me know what your thoughts and experiences are. And I'm pretty sure you guys were laughing your asses off at some point in time during this commentary. So anyway, I just wanted to share this with you guys. I'll catch you guys on the next video. I hope you enjoyed it. This is Jack, signing off.